When I saw Emilia shut down Roswaal after giving a speech that in any other loop would have caused her to completely shut down and give in and say, you know what, Subaru did just give me this pep talk and here's everything that's happened. I believe you. I give up. I'm basically nothing. But to see her just shut him down and the shocked reaction that this is just going completely off course, that the plan that has been set in motion is so skewed. To him, he's just like, you know what? Screw this. We're gonna be dead here soon enough anyway. I'm gonna go cover this place in snow and, yeah, everything's just gonna go A-okay, trust me. The level of delusion and just how warped his reality has been that things have to go according to this book and, the book says he covers the sanctuary in snow, that's what he's going to do. Just seeing all these things that were so uncertain in the original loop when we got to sanctuary. Why was snow covered here? Why was the doors open in the mansion? All these things that were such a concern, not knowing did this happen for a bad reason, a good reason, and to see this episode where you see so many things from the first core of season 2 and you're like, this is why this happened, but it honestly feels like we're about to succeed. Well, maybe that's a little premature to say because, well, we do have to go up against Roswaal, and while Puck would be more powerful than Roswaal if Puck was in the monstrous form, Puck is in spirit form, but still, Puck and Ram versus Roswaal, I think they might be able to handle it. But then again, Roswaal is very powerful, so I guess time will tell. But then you have the whole Sanctuary outside of Sanctuary business where the mansion, honestly, Garf is pretty damn confident in what he's about to do. And honestly, as weird as it may seem to say, because unless it's like Reinhardt on screen, saying a character is going to survive is, well, it just kind of feels like you're doing bad luck there, you're like cursing yourself. I honestly feel like Garf can win this situation. It feels like the stage is set, he's going to be fine, and the only real obstacle, if you were to ask me, is there anything I'm still concerned about? There's a slight concern for Roswaal being able to one-up Ram and Puck, but then again, at the same time, it feels like if it was just Ram, sure. If it was just Puck, sure. But Ram, Juan, Puck, honestly, I think they got that. But the thing is, Beatrice is the oddball and the curveball in this equation. Now, Beatrice is a very lonely person who's been waiting for someone to save her. And at the same time, is it going to work out? Because you would think, if you were to rewind a few weeks back, what was probably the easier one to probably navigate around if we were taking into consideration Emilia's distress, Roswaal just being a scumbag, Garf wanting to kill us, Beatrice locking herself away. Honestly, Beatrice would probably be the easier out of the group, but at the same time, with only one thing left to go, it almost feels too good to be true, so I'm waiting for something big to happen. But if we can get Beatrice on our side, it feels like game, set, match, at least for this loop. It feels as if everything that's been kind of set in motion is about to crumble, and rather than just being like, I can die, I can reset, I don't care about my life anymore, like he kind of started out at the intro of season 2 feeling like that's just how it's going to work. He understands that he should value these loops, and it feels like for the viewer and Subaru, this is the loop to end them all, at least for this arc and objective. And while you could say the Sanctuary arc has been very long, I feel like it's the most eventful thing we've seen in ReZero, and it feels as if the way the pieces click in each time we loop it, even though it's technically the same, the way things have changed over the course of it, from Emilia's emotional distress to trusting and distrusting in Subaru, just having Crazy Witch come in and destroy Sanctuary being frozen, the rabbits, all these things and how they happen, it just makes so much more sense that if we go back and rewatch season 2 now, we're going to see all these loops in such a different light, and I really enjoy that. This was an episode that was primarily dominated by Roswaal just kind of getting slapped in the face with logic. Honestly, it's kind of weird to say, but this was the first time Roswaal's confronted Emilia, and I had no worries that she was going to give in to his bullshit, where he was really trying to put her down so hard. And I mean, we had literally Ram begging and getting on her knees saying, please stop him from doing this. And you would think in any other situation, there would at least be one moment in this conversation that you'd say, oh, Emilia looks like she's doubting herself. But Emilia throws it in his face, and I think the best way possible, that even Roswaal and even the viewer, even knowing it happened, are just shocked. He called me a pain in the ass. She's just saying, like, he literally said I was selfish, I was arrogant, he did all these things and said all these things, and honestly, I couldn't deny it. It was true. In this situation, that's how I was, and it kind of gave me a wake-up call to start doing things. And I really appreciate how real Roswaal's reaction was, because this paint that's across his face, the little getup that he's dressed as to not forget his defeat back in the day, his war paint is such a compelling facade, something that really is like, hey, when he's in this disguise here, no one can beat him. But honestly, his guard had to drop when he learns that Subaru called Emilia a pain in the ass. And even then, he tries to one-up, be like, yeah, but don't you think this was him manipulating? No, you're basically completely and utterly wrong. I'm gonna go back to my trial now. I'm like, okay. This girl has grown so much. That is what we call character development in ReZero. We get the amazing flashback with Emilia to really explain why she was like the way she was ever since the beginning of season 1 and even before then. And to see the character development in present day, it is so incredible to see what she's been able to accomplish. And I said it, I think it was last week and even maybe the week before, I feel like the trials are the thing that are guaranteed in this loop right now. I mean, even Ekidana said, like, you're gonna have no problems with the final 2 trials. It feels like those are game, set, match 100%. Roswaal, I feel like, is like 75%. We're like real close to defeating that obstacle. And since him and Subaru have like this soul-binding pact, if Subaru does beat this loop and is able to free Sanctuary and protect the mansion, Roswaal is going to have to change his ways, and I'm really hoping we get to see him have to admit defeat and kind of give up on being so held down by the past. The whole mansion plotline, it feels too good to be true if you were to ask me, but at the same time, the biggest thing that made it feel like we couldn't win was honestly a lack of power. And power's at our disposal now. And while this character is very strong, at the same time with Garf and, I mean, we have the sister going to protect Rem, we have Subaru dealing with, obviously, we have Beatrice, and hopefully Petra is nowhere to be seen anymore, Garf dealing with the big bad bitch, and honestly, I love that he calls her like just a bitch and is just throwing it in her face. Garf, I love. I really appreciate how much Garf has grown, and just honestly, at a season 2, he's one of the most memorable characters in terms of how he's changed. It feels like this was an episode that wasn't necessarily supposed to make you stress. It was supposed to reward you for sticking with season 2. And there has been some hardships in season 2 that has made the viewers and Subaru want to quit on multiple occasions. But as I always say, ReZero's author knows how to bring you back in after suffering emotional and physically crippling defeat. At least the viewer doesn't have to have that physical defeat, unlike Subaru. So I appreciate how this is a loop that it still has you concerned. It's not like this is 100%. It's not impossible for us to lose here, and then the author just speedruns the same things we've seen before. While I don't think that's going to happen, it's not impossible for them to lose here, or suffer some form of defeat even if they do technically win. A character like Petra could end up dead even if they secure everything else in this loop. It would still be a defeat for someone like Subaru, right? There's still ways for them to lose, so it doesn't feel like things are safe and are guaranteed, but it does feel like after everything we've seen with the development for characters like Emilia, seeing Roswaal's kind of like perception of reality start to crack to the point that he just believes that it's so off course that it's destined to fail. Rem and Ram, I mean, like everything feels like we're getting on the path to victory, and what that victory is going to look like is going to be very interesting. I think if Subaru is able to convince Beatrice to like work with them, I think the mansion's guaranteed safe. I feel like what's probably going to happen is like Garf's going to do really well, but there's probably going to come a point where Garf is going to be close to death, and I'm curious if Beatrice will be like the final blow to protect them. But then again, there's other threats that could happen because we have seen in the first core. There's a lot of bad things that are going to be occurring here. So as long as they work together properly, the physical abilities with the magical abilities, we have a good chance at survival here. And it feels good to say after feeling like, you know, going back to how we felt the first core of season 2. That shit was crippling depression in a half, and even a lot of the second core here. But it really feels like we've been building up to something good here. And it feels like Roswaal's met his match. It feels like, honestly, the mansion might have met its match. And it feels like this is the loop that we might actually succeed at. And it feels good to be able to say that, even though there still is that slight hint of doom lingering around every which corner. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below on this latest episode of ReZero and where you think it might go next week. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.